Welcome to Beyond Vows Veils, your luxury wedding experience. Our podcast, I feel, is a treasure trove of inspiration and insight for newly engaged couples. Join us as we have captivating stories, expert insight, and real wedding experiences that you can listen and learn from. Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond Vows Veils. Thank you again for joining me each week to listen, learn, and discover more ways that you can make more informed decisions for your wedding weekend. So today we're diving into a topic that many couples consider, but often find challenging to navigate, which is having an adult-only reception while ensuring that the little ones are obviously cared for. So our guest speaker today is a remarkable professional, Tyneshia, who's the founder and CEO of Tootles Event Sitters. So Tyneshia's journey is in the event and wedding industry began in 2010 when she launched the company, which is a service that's dedicated to providing a safe and secure and entertaining mobile childcare experience for youngest guests that are going to be attending your event. So her vision has always been to create an environment where children can have a delightful time, allowing parents to enjoy their event stress-free. And really, they've become very trusted and well-known in the Central Florida market more specifically. And she's been forming really strong relationships with numerous wedding vendors and planners in that particular area. But their team certainly can travel as needed. So their success in Florida has led to an expansion in New Jersey as well as the east side of New York. So they've been named one of the leading childcares in the wedding industry. And this year alone, Tootles has served over 500 children in various events showcasing their commitment to excellence and innovation. So outside of that, guys, I just think in general, if you're going to be having a reception that you want this to be an adult-only function, but you're not sure to do with the children, this is a really great episode to dive into if this is going to be a good fit for your event. This is a top-notch childcare service. These individuals are not just showing up, you're dropping your kid off, they're serving them a meal that night and hoping to keep them entertained. They're literally doing face painting and crafts and bounce houses, and I just think it's a really elevated service. So if you're looking for childcare for your event, this is definitely an episode that you don't want to miss. All right, everyone, welcome back to Beyond Vows Veils. Super excited to have Tyneshia with us today, who is an expert in all things babysitting services, kid care, and all the things. So we're really excited to hear it. So if you're a couple just now tuning in, this is really supportive that if you're hosting an adult-only function, if you're trying to make sure the kiddos are taken care of during the event, or you're just really not sure how to approach that, I feel like we have the expert here in-house to share with us all the things. So welcome.
Well, hello. Thank you. Thank you for having us on. We love to share the knowledge and information about childcare at events to get it out there.
You definitely have it down to a science, because when we were chatting over the phone, I just feel like your organization, your system, everything you had in place was really next level. So talk to us a little bit about like how you got started in this field and like how it sort of has transitioned to where you are now.
Well, I've been in childcare since high school. We're not going to say what year that was, but so I've been in childcare for so long, and childcare has always been my passion. And then when I got married in 2010, we all of our family is from two different states. So we knew that we didn't have kids, but we knew that if all the grandparents are coming and all the aunts and uncles are coming, that they will have to bring the kids with them. Mm-hmm. And I was looking for something specific. Like I needed activities and games and I needed that excitement for the children. Mm-hmm. Not just sticking them into, at the time we had a villa, sticking them into a villa and say, here's a sitter, go for it. So I just made my own. I said, if I'm looking for this, I'm sure someone else is looking for this. Mm-hmm. And I had a bride reach out to me because at that time we were going between transitioning, but we were still doing tea parties for little girls. Mm-hmm. So I had a bride reach out to me and she's like, hey, can you come do a theme party for us, for the kids at the venue? And I said, oh, I never thought about that. Yes. So we did a pirate and princess theme, and we brought dressed up clothes, and we had face painting and all that stuff. And from there, I said, I think we got something. Because if this bride is looking, I know there's other brides and other companies that are looking, and I
Mhm.
wanted to do something unique. I cannot be in a room with 20 kids and just have a box of crowns and a coloring book. Like I want to be able to for them to leave there or say when mom and dad pick up, I don't want to go.
Mhm.
That is the vision of it, and we just took off from there.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, anyone who's listening, I know it's a big kind of overhaul to think about, okay, I'm going to go to this event and then I'm going to bring my kid to essentially what really is like an adult reception. And
Yes.
the kiddos might have a good time here and there, but if parents really want to just like cut loose, have a good time, and they know their kids are going to be taken care of and well entertained, I feel like it's kind of an exciting almost experience for the kids too when they go to a wedding. It's almost like, oh
Yes.
wow, I'm going to be able to like do this activity or like partake with this and hang out with the other kids. It almost just kind of makes it like an event within an event. So I love that concept. I think it's really supportive.
Yeah, and it also what I love is where we all of our families, a lot of people families are spread all over. They're either like over I'm noticing they're overseas or they're in other states that they haven't seen, and I think it's good to see like, oh, that's cousin so and so, remember uncle, that's his like watching that connection of the children, put it together that these are, oh, I do have cousins, like my kids, for example, all their cousins are in two different states, so when we get together, it's like they're excited about it because they get to be with their family and they want to play. Kids don't want to sit through all the toast, and they don't want to sit and wait for the fork, the meal, the plate to get served. They want to get up and play, and parents should be able to have a night off. They should be able to enjoy their loved one's wedding or event. They should be able to eat the food before it gets cold. And if they want to have two cocktails, they should be able to have two cocktails. It's just things like that while knowing that their kid is somewhere and they are having the time of their life. So,
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious, like, I don't know if you have language. I know our office is always trying to figure out language. Like, if you're a bride and you're sending out your invitation and you definitely want to emphasize that it is like, we're not having kids at this, reception. Like, what is like some language you can use, like, to not be like, hey, we don't want you to feel like not welcome, but like, we are trying to not like have kids. Like, I just don't know how to like tiptoe around that.
well, I always tell couples you can't tiptoe around it because you're going to always have that family member that's like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. That she's not talking about my kids. Like she knows how I am about my kid. Like, or I'm not going to go. Like they put the pressure on the couple of like, well, they've never been out of my sight. They've never been, with anyone else. They're not going to know what to do. So I always tell them, you have to stress it. You have to be very open and blunt. You have to be open with your event planner too. So your event planner knows when you're in your planning stage and you guys are sitting down having a conversation of what your vision of your wedding is, you're stressing that to them. You do
Mm-hmm.
not want any children. And
Mm-hmm.
your event planner respects that. Like, okay, listen, they don't want any kids. So when RSVP, if the event planner is managing the RSVPs
Mm-hmm.
and we had that issue and they're like, oh, three, you're like, no, it's supposed to be just two. Well, who's this third person? um, and I tell them, put on your website, your wedding website,
Mm-hmm.
hey, take the night off. We have hired an amazing company who is a licensed and insured that provide a ton of fun for the little ones while you guys party with us through our next, transition of life. Like
Mm-hmm.
we give out words because we have this question all the time, and they're like, okay, how do I say this? And I'm like, all right, we'll send you certain prompts that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing, when you send out your invitation, we have cards that you can put into your invitation. So you're reinforced every touch that they have on your wedding. You have to keep putting, you can't put it in small writing. You got to have it front and center of, listen, guys, we love you. We love your kids, but we want you to enjoy the night. We don't want you having to worry about, someone falling or you can't enjoy the dance or those little special moments. You put so much time into this and money into this, and you want that little special touch that you've added. You want all of your guests to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is we help them word it and we know every culture is different.
Mhm.
So we have to tweak it a little bit for they don't they don't take it offensive.
Right.
But we've been, I mean, successful, through it all. But it also comes like we've had a wedding where they stressed it to everybody. And one of the guests did not, went up to the planner and said, "Hey, I need a high chair." And the planner said, the child care is downstairs. The guest was upset,
Mhm.
but this is the wish of the couple. The couple has, stated this.
Mhm.
Also, when it's cocktail hour time and they're getting ready to move to the reception, sometimes what happens is the kids stay with the parents during cocktail hour. So we say to them, "Hey, why don't we set up a little table in the cocktail hour where we put like coloring so the kids will start coming towards us and the parents will see like, oh, wait a minute, there's a sitting service." Because a lot of time they think it's a bunch of high school kids getting thrown into a room to watch the kids. And then when they come see the room and see us, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is an actual service."
This is a professional setup, and my kid's going to have a heck of a lot more fun here than probably
Yes.
hanging out with me at the reception. I'm totally with you putting on the wedding website. There really is no, I'm with you. You can't like hide the information. You have to really just be transparent and just know that it is okay. It doesn't have to be, every single function doesn't have to necessarily have kid care, but at your main dinner reception, if you're partying late and you just feel like it's a more appropriate situation to have just adults there, then kid care does not have to be daunting. For us in the past, it definitely has been as a planner. Like when you're dealing with people's kids, it's like, okay, what are the age ranges? Do they have dietary restrictions? But I know that your process kind of streamlines that. Can you talk a little bit about like if I'm a guest attending a wedding and I see that there's a prompt that, there's babysitting services, do you have some sort of like booking link where they can share specific information about their child, or how does that work through that? Just for like, safety, security, all that good stuff, for making sure that there's no like allergy situations. I don't know. How do you guys navigate all that?
So that wedding will get a customized link. So if there's certain things that a couple needs to know or the event planner needs to know, because we work very closely with the event planner. The first thing we do all the time is when a couple calls us to say, "Who's your planner?" Because we have to work very closely with one another, especially when it comes to the food and allergies and things like that. So we have a link that goes out. We share it with the planner and we share it with the couple, and we tell them put this link on their wedding website. We also encourage them to text to their guests, especially those that have children. Text it to your guests, give them a deadline. And on that link, it asks them information. Dietary restrictions, is there anything special that we need to know? Like if your child is on the spectrum of anything, and if they are, what do we need to know where their trigger moments are? Like if it's the light, if it's noise, we need to know all of that. So then as we're staffing your event, we know, hey, we have a child that is allergic to peanuts, or we have a child that is allergic to eggs, or they can't eat meat. So when we're talking with the event planner, we can say, "Hey, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but we have 3 kids that can't have dairy, or we have a couple of kids that can't have eggs, or or meat." That way, while you guys are planning out the menu, because it's easy to say chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, macaroni and cheese, that's what they're going to eat. But then you have a kid that can't have chicken fingers or chicken nuggets, or one that, so it allows us to be able to create, something for a customized menu for the children to eat. And then also allows the parents to be comfortable. Now, some parents, if they know that their kid is highly allergic to certain things, they will opt in to feed them prior, and then bring snacks for them, which is perfectly fine. So when they do check in and they come to us, we verify all their information. We verify, okay, based on your list, these are the ones that are authorized to pick them up. Is there anyone that we need to add? Because if they're not on this list, we will not release them to your child to them. And then we'll go over their allergies and we'll ask them, okay, so do they have an EpiPen, or what do we need to look signs for? This is what is on the menu. Can they have this? What can they not have? So we make sure, and when they're checking in, it's not like, okay, he's here, goodbye. No, we're going through it to be sure that we have the correct information, because sometimes Dad will fill it out.
Sure.
And mom's like, that's not right. Or he forgot to put this, or,
Right.
or sometimes they have the grandparents. Like if it's a huge family,
Mm-hmm.
they'll send the link to the grandparents and say, hey, can you fill it out for so and so and so? And they'll do just their family. So we have to make sure that the information in there is correct. And
Yeah.
we can, so if a planner say, we need to add this specific question, the bride is wanting to know, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if she adds in our face painting. So we will have to add, is your child allowed to do face painting on face or arm? Because some parents are like, yeah, but they have to do their arm, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they can do their face. So we have to add that question to it, so
Mm-hmm.
we can also know, okay, they're allowed to do face painting, but they can only do it on their arm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I really love that you go into that detail, because I think that, even as, a parent myself, it is a little daunting that if you're, at an event and you're trying to obviously enjoy, there's this kid care available, but it's almost like, I feel like parents tend to like huddle together, right? So if you see like the other parents are doing it and like the other kids are happy, and again, it just takes like, if you have entertainment and fun things for these kids to do, like they're going to enjoy just playing together, right? I mean,
Yes.
and I really think that just like makes the experience even that much fruitful for the whole family. So anytime I ever ask couples like, okay, so we're doing an adult only reception, are you going to be providing kid care? It's like such a daunting task. And I feel like your system really takes out that. I mean, I'm honestly, kudos to you, because I know what it feels like to have to like hand call guests and be like, okay, so and so and so and so, and what's the allergy? Like I literally had to like make personal phone calls to collect that information. So the fact that you have like a link where they can fill out the form, you're cross-checking it when the kids check in, I just think it makes it really foolproof, and it does provide that extra layer of like safety and security for the families to feel more comfortable to opt in for that.
Yeah, it's when I designed the company, my biggest thing is, how can I take the stress off of the planner? Because you
Mm-hmm.
guys have enough going on for the day, and with the planning and making sure the couple's vision is coming to life. And so we are like, what can we do to
Mm-hmm.
take the stress off of you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if we can gather all this information, because then it's like we have to reach out to you and say, what's this and what's that? And
Right.
it's not like top on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So we designing it, I'm like, we want to be a concierge service to you guys and a concierge service to the couple. So the
Right.
couple is already comfortable to say the kids are good. And then what happens is, if the couple is comfortable and the event planner is comfortable, you're going to spread the word stronger and harder when it comes to who's watching the children.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be like, listen, they got it. They're going to have a ball pit. They'll have a bounce house. They'll have they'll have all this
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
like it's not we put them in a room and they're just sitting there. So
Mm-hmm.
we will also be like, the day of, we get there, we set up, but we want to be like, okay, who is our point of contact within the catering? Like, who is the one that is, because typically what happens, you have the hotel or the venue will say, okay, you're taking care of the kids with their food and their needs, and then we're taking care of the couple with their needs. So we want to
Mm-hmm.
know who's our point of contact, so we're not looking we're not looking for you guys and asking like, hey, what time is this? Like, we want timeline, and it's so funny, because when I reach out to planners, like, hey, we didn't get a timeline, and they're like, why do you need a timeline? And I'm like, well, we need a timeline because we can keep, with us, we're knowing time wise of, okay, well, they're running behind.
Right.
So we know that, okay, they're running behind. Oh, dinner is going to be served at 6 o'clock. We're planning our events for that day.
Mm-hmm.
We're able, so we can transition and get them ready, if it's a buffet, if they're having, or if the kids are having plated food. It also gives us time to make sure that we have our allergy kids are separated.
Mm-hmm.
So needing a timeline is very important to us. We look at it probably just as much as you guys, because we're like, okay, it's 3 o'clock. They're doing pictures here. Or sometimes we have couples that are like, we want the kids in the photos at this
Mm-hmm.
time. So we have to know, okay, at this time, kids are in photos. We need to bring them to the yard, or we need to bring them to the foyer or back to the ballroom. And so we'll do that. We'll move the kids, take them photos, and then we'll bring them back. So we're very, very, very hands-on, like, because we don't want to be out of the loop or drop a ball anywhere. We want to be able to make sure that we know. And we worked at a lot of venues that pretty much, they're so funny because they're like, oh, Tootles is here. We're good. Okay, they know what to do. So because we've gotten to the, like, we've like, oh, okay, this is where this is. And, you know, we're always at, like, the biggest thing is they know we need a big trash can because they'll put like a little trash can in. And I'm like, no, we do crafts. We do activities. We need trash can.
When couples are like picking out their activities, I'm just curious because obviously you've listed some that are like fabulous. I mean, who the heck would even think that you'd bring like a bounce house or like a ball pit and stuff like that? That's awesome. Does the couple get to like sort of talk to you about activities that they like want to have, or do you guys sort of brainstorm on that, or like how do you figure out what you're going to bring or how you're going to set up?
Well, typically we kind of know already. We do have our specialty activities. So one of our specialty activities is that everybody makes a cup that has a straw in it, because I got tired of throwing out plastic cups and trying to figure out who cup is who, because every kid wanted to drink water from the water thing. So now everyone makes a cup and they make it, they design it, they color it, they put their name on it, and that is their cup for the evening. So it becomes so helpful with that part. Then we have a picture frame that they all design, and we take candid shots. So a Polaroid comes out. So they get to take that home with them, the cup and the frame. The amount of times that we've had repeat clients from, oh, you did my cousin's wedding, my son still has that picture frame, or he still has that cup. Like, it's like, even when they're going to the parks, like they'll say, we're taking the cup with us to the park. But if it's around the holiday time, we do ask the couple what holiday they celebrate. So then we'll gear our additional crafts around the holiday that they particularly celebrate. If we feel like the wedding has a theme going, we'll ask them, hey, do you want us to do a special craft just based on your wedding theme? Like, we'll ask them those questions. And some couples like, you'll do that? Well, yeah, because this is your theme. So we'll go with your theme. And they'll say, oh, yes. Oh, well, definitely. So then we'll pick a craft like that will go around a theme too. So they kind of, it's that special touch all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I literally don't know any babysitting service that's doing this. So the fact that you are offering all of this is pretty amazing. Talk to me a little bit. I know that all the couples that are listening right now are probably like, okay, like, how do we break down how many sitters we need, what the cost situation is? Like, how does that model even start? Just curious. I know it's all probably pretty custom.
Well, so it's all based on the ages of the children. So if you have, we run a low ratio. So we don't run the typical childcare ratio where you can have 11 2-year-olds with one person. We run a low ratio. So an infant is about 1 to 2. So if there's 2 infants, there's one childcare person. So once we get your final count and we get the ages, and that's why that link is so important, that will decide on how many sitters you'll need. So based on, let's say 10, give or take 10 children, you'll probably have about 4 sitters. So we're kind of, then unless there's an infant there. If it's an infant, you'll have 5 sitters. And so we're looking at about 10 kids, about 4 to 5 sitters. You're looking at like $1,600. That's for 4 hours. Sure. And that's including all of your activities, all of your sitters. So we don't do it like, and I get yelled at all the time by people like, why don't you try? I'm not going to penalize because there's an infant there and I have to bring an extra person. Like, that's not fair. I can't do that, you know? And being that our girls are so, this is their profession, this is what they do, they know how to navigate. And once that infant, like we always say, there's always one kid that's going to take a sitter off the floor because they get so attached to them. They can't move. They don't want you looking at another kid. You are mine for the night. So we always say so-and-so is off the floor for the night. So we know they're going to be limited. So I'd rather have more sitters than not have enough sitters based on, and we'll get calls that say, oh, we only need 2 sitters. And I say, no, you need more than 2 sitters, because you have a toddler, and you have an infant, or you have this, like, you not knowing how they're going to react to us, and not knowing how they're going to react to being left there, and interacting. And we want to make sure that they're comfortable. We want to make sure that they know that they still have attention, and mom and dad or whoever is going off to have fun, but this is for you. So we want the parents to be comfortable. We want them to know that my kid is being dropped off, and they're going to be looked at. They're not going to be overlooked or stuck in a corner and they're crying for nothing. We do not like children. That's our biggest thing, is idling. No child should be idling. They should be able, they're interested in something. Legos, Play-Doh, coloring, putting together boxes. They're interested in something, and our duty is to find that interest and keep it going for the evening.
Yeah, I love that. Honestly, I mean, if you're a guest, I mean, just think about literally this situation. I think it's fabulous. So if you're arriving to cocktails, you literally see the babysitter station or area that you could walk over to, kind of get your kid warmed up, make sure that they feel comfortable, you're comfortable. You can kind of check in with them. And I think that like, especially if they're able to play with the other kids, and once they're checked in, like, and you get the meeting room literally usually that we arrange is right next door to the ballroom. So at any point in time that you want to pop out, go check in on your kid, I'm sure that you can certainly do that, just like for your own comfort. But I really feel like it isn't something that has to be like scary or a hurdle, because there are services out there that can support you and are licensed and insured, and do have, obviously team members that I know we talked offline that are like fully background checked, obviously have a lot of experience when it comes to working with kids. So you're not like throwing like random people to also support with watching your children. I mean, these individuals like are very well seasoned.
Oh yeah. So we do ongoing hiring. So we're hiring nonstop, because we don't want to just, I have a wedding, I need to pull 5 people in, like off the streets or anything like that. So we do an ongoing hiring. We do a training. Our girls do go through trainings. We have 2 head leads that if we do have we'll have a new girl coming that's working an event, we have our training lead go out and make so they're navigating them through the training. Because a lot of people, when they come on board, they're like, oh, I'm just going to sit and watch the kids. But then when they actually come and work with us, they're like, oh, wait, we actually work? Like,
yeah. It's like, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we actually work. We move, we get up, we move around, and, we do things, and we move. Like, my girls are always yelling at me, like, sit down. I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask you guys to do something that I'm not going to do myself when we're at events.
Right.
And it's the same thing. Like, we change diapers. Like, parents would be like, oh, well, call me. I'm like, we change their diapers, right? Oh, you do? I'm like, yes. Just give us the bag. Tell us where it is. We'll change their diaper. And when a sitter goes to the bathroom with a child, another sitter goes with them. So they're never alone in the bathroom by themselves. And we usually do a whole bathroom run at that time, because once one got to go, they all gotta go.
They all do. Yeah. True.
So, and within their training, we do have a training that was designed by a special education teacher on signs to look for, because some parents are not up front with us, because some of them feel like, oh, my child is going to be looked at the wrong way. So we have that training put in place, which has helped us tremendously once we enforced it, because we were able to say, hey guys, this is what I'm noticing with them. Okay. So then everyone in the room knew what to look for. Like, if we felt like he was a runner. So if they were a runner, we knew that these doors have to be watched and we have to monitor them. And the one thing that we also do is, if we have never been at the venue before, we do go take a tour of the venue, and we discuss with the venue owner and with the planner and the couple there's times that we would have to say that room's not going to work.
Right.
Because they'll put us somewhere, and I'm like, there's a big lake back there that is like, and the door may not lock, or the door, the knobs are very low, or, there's just things. And so they're like, oh no, I'm like, no, safety first. It's not going to work. Like, or they'll put us in a room and they have 25, 30 kids. And I'm like, this room is too small. These kids, they're not going to be able to move. They're going to be on top of each other, especially
Right.
when we know that there's going to be babies there.
Right, 100%. And I think going to that extensiveness of care, even in the front end, to be like, hey, I want to see the space that we're going to be in. I want to kind of know the lay of the land. I want to know where the nearest bathroom is. I mean, that's so, so critical and important. So, I mean, again, for any couple that's listening, I know, again, that sometimes like you're like, oh, like, maybe I'll just bring my nanny, or maybe I'll, if it's one evening and it's a couple hours, your kid's going to have a heck of a time and they're going to be literally right next door to you. And I think it's fun for everybody. So, is there any like just parting words, or like, we always end most of our episodes saying you don't know what you don't know. Like, is there anything in particular you feel like we didn't cover, just like would be supportive for parents to know out there, or bride and grooms, what have you?
What I always tell parents, being a parent of 3 myself, we had a life before kids. and and we sometimes we get so into our kids. My kids are in, my son's in football, my daughter's in theater, I have the other one in sports. And we forget like why we got married and why we had our children. And we as parents deserve a night off. We as parents deserve to take our parent hat off and enjoy and have fun and laugh and have adult conversation. I know me, sometimes I'm like, I need to talk to somebody that is over 5 foot. Like, I need to have an adult conversation. And you don't have to censor half of it, and just enjoy the moment, because they are our life. Kids are our life, and we love our children, but they're going to grow up and they're going to move out. And then you guys are going to look at each other and be like, what happened?
Right.
So take the parent hat off for the night, and have fun. And I promise you will not regret it. There's times we have parents that's like, I can't remember the last time I had this much fun. I can't remember the last time I seen my cousin, we haven't seen each other. Enjoy your family, enjoy your new family, enjoy your old family, enjoy your friends, and enjoy the season that you're in. And just have fun.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much again for sharing your insight and joining me on my podcast and going through this. I feel like it will be really supportive for couples who are considering, having childcare for their events.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I was very humbled when you reached out to me. I was like, yes, I will do it, because I want to get it out. My biggest thing is educating the parents of, take the hat off. You're okay.
Yeah, 100%. No, I so appreciate your time. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good day.